rare and balanced view on politics in today's world. Based on facts, born of rationality, common sense, and logic, providing context on today's events. This is American Perspective with Rick Thomas.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to American Perspective. I am your host, Rick. Wow, it's a Monday. Yeah, it's a Monday. Another fine week we've got going on here. Yep, fine week. Oh, 3 Chevy was apparently so bored he put up his Christmas lights. Now, for me, that's absolute blasphemy. You do not put up any Christmas decorations until after Thanksgiving. But then again, to each his own. All right, folks, let's go ahead and get things kicked off. First, let's get to tonight's Pledge of Allegiance. And tonight we have the wonderful Coco, Cam, and Sean, who are up on deck for the pledge. So if you are of mine, please stand, remove your hat if you're wearing one like me. Place your hand over your heart and follow along with Coco, Cam, and Sean as they recite the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, and of course I thank you, Coco, Cam, and Sean, for that wonderful rendition of the pledge. You would like to hear your rendition of the pledge played here on the program, all you need to do is record yourself performing or reciting the pledge in your style. Take that audio file. Oh, Bonnie. God. Anyway, take that audio file, video file, whatever kind of file, and attach it to an email. Send it off to fans, F-A-N-S, at AmericanPerspective.online. That's fans, F-A-N-S, at AmericanPerspective.online. And I will get you into the rotation. I'm looking for number 21, so please get that over. By the way, I've been told by a heavenly body before it became heavenly that if you take your, if you do it on your phone, make sure you hit that share button. Share will actually do exactly what you need it to do. It'll open up and allow you to share it to a email address. Send it off to fans, F-A-N-S, at AmericanPerspective.online, and I will get you into the rotation. All righty, folks. I am wearing one of their fantastic shirts. You can guess who's going to be up on the headline sponsor here, but I can tell you right now, I wear their shirts almost every single episode. It is the men's cotton polos that I really appreciate in all the kinds of American styles that are available, and you can go and check them out at theflagshirt.com. Go to theflagshirt.com and check out all of the styles available. They've got patriotic styles for fall still up right now. Yes, these are the shirt people. Go to theflagshirt.com, check out all their men's, women's, kids' accessories in the good old red, white, and blue, patriotic outfits, all kinds of things that they've got going on. You can check out like their 3/4 zips. Yeah, you want to take a look here. They've got all kinds of accessories. They've got gifts too. They've got like socks and ties and towels and hats and just all kinds of stuff. You can go and check all of that out. You can see all of the stuff here. Patriotic clothing, it talks to about them. It's a veteran-owned, veteran-run organization. It's a third generation family-owned operated business out of Florida, I believe. Everything that I've ever gotten from them is always out of Florida. So anyway, just go and grab, check out all of their styles. Go to theflagshirt.com. And of course, if you order $75 or more of their product, they will provide you with free shipping. But I know not everybody can order $75 or more, or even want $75 or more necessarily of products. I mean, not everybody is as patriotic as I am, who goes and buys, a whole bunch of shirts and things like that. Anyway, you can head on over to theflagshirt.com and check it out. But if you don't want to buy that $75 or more, I'm going to go ahead and help you out. All you need to do to get a little help is go to flagshirt.americanperspective.online. That's flagshirt.americanperspective.online, where you will be presented with a coupon code. You can take that coupon code, copy and paste it into the promo box at checkout at theflagshirt.com, and you'll get $5 off your order. So go to flagshirt.americanperspective.online, where you will be presented with a coupon code. Grab that coupon code, copy and paste it into the promo code box at checkout at theflagshirt.com, and you will be given $5 off your order on American Perspective. Go to theflagshirt.com and get yourself. It's the flag shirt. I don't know why I keep my closed captioning said ship, but it's shirt. Shirt. Theflagshirt.com and get yourself patriotized. Oh, things are just wonderful. Hey, Fat Paws, get better. All right. So, folks, I just got to say that, there's some good news. You remember that Duggan, Judge Hannah Duggan, or I don't know, I think it's Duggan. I think it's Duggan, not Dugan. But anyway, Hannah Duggan, yeah. You remember that 31-year-old Mexican national with a history of violent criminal charges that she tried to protect from ICE? Yeah, she got in trouble for it. She's been arrested. She's been indicted. She's also temporarily suspended from the Wisconsin Supreme Court. She's also facing potentially years in jail. Well, you know that guy that she tried to keep away from ICE? Yeah, well, he gone. That's right. He has been sent packing, according to ICE. All she did was just slow it down. I mean, let's be honest. All she did was just slow it down. That's it. Oh, he's been sent packing. So, yeah. He gone. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security announced the removal of Eduardo Flores Ruiz, a criminal illegal alien from Mexico who was arrested in April despite a judge attempting to help him evade arrest. Thanks to the brave men and women of ICE law enforcement, this criminal is out of our country. If you are here illegally and break the law, we will hunt you down, arrest you, and remove you from our country. That's a promise. There you go. Promises made, promises kept. Here you go. Anyway. Yeah, so they, obviously, DHS took a lot of shots at Duggan, reminding her that her alleged efforts to thwart the removal of a dangerous criminal backfired in a spectacular fashion. So, yeah. Anyway. Yeah, she was caught on videotape, seemingly brazenly breaking the law intentionally directing ICE agents away from this criminal illegal alien to obstruct the arrest and try to help him evade arrest. The DHS release contends. Thankfully, our law enforcement chased down this violent illegal alien and arrested him. So, there you go. Jeez. Oh, and by the way, her legal defense is, quote, she is entitled to judicial immunity for her official acts. Yeah, even George Washington Law School professor Jonathan Turley dismissed that as hard to understand. Yeah. Anyway, she later, the U.S. District Judge Lynn Edelman later rejected the motion for the dismissal. And so her trial is scheduled, Duggan's trial is scheduled to begin in mid-December. So we'll see what happens here. She faces charges that could result in 6 years in prison and a maximum fine of $350,000. Now, I just want to point something out to all of you people out there. And by that, I mean not my Whiskey Warrior P1s, who are the smartest listening audience in the ethosphere. I'm talking about all the idiot leftist lunatics who all seem to think that crossing the border illegally is a civil offense. It is not a civil offense, okay? There is jail time associated to the crime. Now, whether or not you actually receive jail time will depend upon your trial. But because of the fact that it is a possible punishment is jail time, okay? We don't have debtors' prisons over here in the United States. Okay, we don't have them anymore. So getting a fine or not being able to pay fines or whatever, no, this is a criminal offense. To cross over illegally, the minute that you assign jail time, meaning that you could face up to a certain number of time in jail as punishment, that automatically makes it a criminal offense. Because you can't get jail time from a civil fine. You can't. Civil infractions are usually fines. They're not jail time. And so there's no way, there is absolutely no way that you can sit here and tell me that jumping the border is a civil infraction. It is not. It is a criminal offense that can result in your ass going to jail. Sorry, that just irritated the hell out of me because I keep seeing these morons on the socials that are all like, it's a civil offense because, you know, Jasmine Crockett once said that on TV. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway. Oh, I just get so frustrated with these people. They're just so damn dumb. They're idiots. Anyway, okay. I digress. I'm off the rails already. Oh, let's see. Which one is it? Hold up. Man, I am losing it. There we go. All right. That's this button. There we go. I'm already off. Oh. Wow, Ms. T. You are, yeah, you're digging deep there for the movies, but by the way, that's one of my favorites. Anyway, if you know, you know. Anyway, yeah, so there you go. I'm already off the rails. All right, let's move on. So I guess if you decide that you want to find out how much your metal is, and no, I'm talking METTLE, not your MEDAL, okay, but your metal, METTLE, meaning how much internal fortitude you actually have, and whether or not you want to find out how good your crew is, you might decide that you want to take on some U.S. Marines. Yeah. Oh, these guys. I don't know where these people come from, but whatever. This is in Haiti, okay? Supposedly some some idiots in Haiti decided to fire on Marines protecting the U.S. Embassy down there. This is in Port-au-Prince in Haiti. In here, I'll just show you the. I don't know where this thing where they fired upon them, but this apparently is the embassy down there. And yeah, according to Captain Stephen Keenan, who is a spokesman for the U.S. Marines, he wrote in an email that a shooting occurred, which came to light this weekend, happened last Thursday, and added that the Marines that were there returned fire. Well, no shit, they returned fire. Do not fire unless fired upon. Anyway, no Marines were hurt in the attack, folks. But they suspect that there were criminal gangs that did this. By the way, this image that I'm showing you right now on the screen is of the U.S. Embassy as seen in July 5th of 2024. And this is supposedly where the suspected gang members fired upon American forces. I mean, if you want, you know what? I'm just going to throw this out there for anybody, any criminal element who is listening on this. Please do us all a favor and fire upon our U.S. military. That eliminates all kinds of laws and all kinds of rules of engagement and all kinds of red tape and crap that can happen. Just please, just do it. I mean, that's all I'm saying. Just do it, because you won't last long. And it'll resolve both of our problems. One, your stupidity, getting you into a situation like that. But two, it just erases you from the map, along with any offspring or anything else that you may produce in the future that has your same stupid behavior. That's just all I'm going to say. I'm sorry. Yeah. One of the finest fighting forces ever seen on this planet is the United States military. Yeah. So do me a favor. Go ahead. Open fire on them, please. Saves President Trump having to, figure out a way constitutionally to go after your ass. Oh, anyway. Yeah, so here's what, at least this is an image of the armed gang members that patrol the streets of a neighborhood in Port-au-Prince, Haiti on October 6th. Yeah, these guys look like they're real badasses. I mean, other than the hardware that they're carrying. I mean, come on, folks. They just, yeah. Well, they just look like they're a real tough fighting force. Mm-hmm. Anyway, the Haitian police were not immediately available to comment on the exchange of fire. They have their hands full. I'm just going to tell you, they have their hands full because, according to them, oh, here's another image of those guys, of the supposed gangs. Gangs, according to them, gangs control 90% of Haiti's capital. They extort businesses. They fight for territory. They're using what they're calling heavy weaponry. Now, the United States has continued to operate an embassy in Haiti, but in recent years, the State Department has issued numerous warnings telling Americans not to travel there due to the risk of kidnappings, crimes, terrorist activities, civil unrest. Yeah. So, yeah, just do us all a favor. Just decide to stretch your muscles and, think that you can go after the finest fighting force the world has ever seen. Anyway, I kind of make light of the situation, but let's be honest, that's a pretty dangerous place, honestly. And according to the United Nations, gang violence has displaced more than 1.3 million Haitians from their homes in recent years. Security in the nation of nearly 12 million people has deteriorated rapidly since 2021 when President Jovenel Moise, M-O-I-S-E. Somebody tell me how to pronounce that. Anyway, when he was assassinated in his home by mercenaries. That his murder has generated a power vacuum that politicians in the nation have struggled to fill, and no elections have been held to replace him. In late September, the United Nations Security Council voted to create a gang suppression force of about 5,500 troops that will be deployed to Haiti to fight the nation's heavily armed criminal groups. A smaller force of police officers from Kenya has struggled to contain gangs, which killed 5,600 people last year, according to the UN Human Rights Office. So, yeah. Anyway, kind of a bad place to be, but I gotta tell you, if you're gonna open fire on somebody, it definitely isn't the United States Marines. That's all I gotta say. All right, well, some good news for the military, and this is how it kind of connects. I try to find segues, seriously. I try to find segues as much as I can when I'm transferring topics and stuff. This one's very tangential in nature here. But, the military members, if you recall, a lot of them, when the COVID thing happened and the Biden administration kicked a whole bunch of people out, well, they also stripped benefits such as the GI Bill. Now, for those of you that don't know, the GI Bill is the assistance. I'm not going to say it pays for everything. It kind of depends on what sort of a degree you're going after, where you go and that kind of stuff. But it gives you money to go toward higher education. And it's called the GI Bill. And to pay for some college education. Now, I took advantage of it. I'm not going to deny. I mean, I had 4 years in the service, and that was one of my benefits when I got out. And I took advantage of it and received a degree. So that's granted, it didn't cover everything because I did have other student loans that I had to take care of, but it did take care of a significant portion, enough to make it so that I could go back to school and get my degree. But when Biden left, or when Biden took out this benefit because of military members' refusal, some of them, to take the COVID-19 vaccine, it really hits a lot home because, believe it or not, I mean, a lot of people, especially in peacetime, will do that when they can't afford to go to school on their own, or they're looking for some sort of a specialized degree or whatever, and they can't afford to pay for it themselves. They will go in to the military to gain that benefit. And, so there you go. Well, in a long-awaited move, the VA and the Trump administration is restoring those rights now. So, this major shift in policy could restore education benefits to thousands of veterans who were separated from military service for refusing the COVID vaccine during the Biden administration. The move follows President Donald Trump's January executive order number 14184, reinstating service members discharged under the military's COVID vaccination mandate. This directed federal agencies to identify service members affected by the former vaccine requirement and take steps to reinstate or restore certain benefits. In response, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth went on to instruct military departments to facilitate discharge upgrades for those who were involuntarily separated because they declined the COVID vaccine and received a characterization of service that affected their benefits. Now, keep in mind, when you go in, just so everybody understands, when you go in, I got shot with a whole bunch of stuff. We're talking, things like malaria, all kinds of stuff. If you were prepping to go over to the Middle East in the 90s, you received all kinds of shots. I don't even know how many different things I got stuck with. I do know that the night or the day that I received it, I was sick as a dog for 24 hours afterward. But all of that stuff, of course, doesn't have any connection to the COVID-19 shot. So, yeah. And I can tell you that as far as I know, I've had no long-term effects due to those kinds of shots. But anyway, most of these people who essentially did this and they engaged, the Biden administration engaged in discharges that were purely punitive in nature. They, sent them off without any of their benefits. And, yeah. So, and that wrong is going to be righted. And according to the VA, more than 8,000 service members were separated after Biden's Department of Defense implemented the vaccination mandate. Over half reportedly received discharges classified as less than honorable, which is a status that can limit the eligibility for educational benefits under the GI Bill. So, yeah, trust me, I got a honorable discharge, by the way. So, when you're sent out in an other than honorable, that's hopefully you don't end up with the big chicken dinner, which is the bad conduct discharge. But when you go out as other than honorable, you're not being punitively kicked out. You're just leaving under other than honorable conditions, and it can affect your ability to do a lot of things like receive benefits, and sometimes it can affect going out and getting a job and those kinds of things. So this is a good thing. This is a good thing for that. Now, keep in mind that these veterans that were kicked out for this were not service members who refused an order in the face of an enemy. They just refused what was an experimental vaccine, which we can't even call it a vaccine. They changed the definition in order to make it fit. But anyway, the Biden administration, of course, summarily discharged them for it. So now some of these service members are actually being reinstated as well, while others are having their benefits restored. And that's what they absolutely need to do. Now, I've told you on this program that there is no place in the Constitution under Article 1, Section 8 that talks about health care for the general public. However, I will and always have said that the exception that you can make is definitely our military members. For those military folks, that is absolutely true. They should receive their benefits, and we should take care of them for the rest of their lives, realistically. All veterans should have medical taken care of, but anyway. All right. Well, the latest leftist lunatic scandal has hit, and I'll get to that here in just a quick moment. But first, let me talk to you about, if it'll come up, Rumble Premium. That's right. If you've probably noticed, Rumble is growing fast, and it's not slowing down. They're building a real alternative to big tech that puts creators first, creators like myself, and actually protects free speech. Exactly. And now there's Rumble Premium, an easy way to get an upgrade to your experience With Premium, you get ad-free viewing across the platform. No pre-rolls, no interruptions, just the content that you came for. Plus, Premium members also unlock exclusive content like bonus videos, behind-the-scenes drops, and more from your favorite creators. Now, I haven't done that yet, but I'm working on it. I'll get there eventually. Anyway, but that don't do it just for mine. Do it for all of them. Everybody that you watch. Right now, Rumble is offering a $10 off annual subscription. All you have to do is go to rumble.com/premium. That / is the question mark key. That's rumble.com/premium. Use the promo code STUDIO, STUDIO, at checkout and get $10 off that annual subscription. That's rumble.com/premium, promo code STUDIO to get that $10 off that annual subscription. No ads, more freedom, and content that you actually care about. That's the deal. Go to rumble.com/premium, use promo code STUDIO, STUDIO, and get that $10 off when you order an annual subscription. That's rumble.com/premium and promo code STUDIO. All right. Well, here's the latest BS. This is straight from Teddy Lou's X account. Now, I saw a few others that posted it, but take a look at this. Now, if you're looking at the screen and you're on a, you're on the video portion of the platform, you can see Donald Trump walking in front of that fantastic 100-foot flagpole that he commissioned and put in on the White House lawn. Well, there's only one problem. It appears that the flag that would normally be up on that pole, and of course right now is running at half staff, it appears that that flag is on the ground. Now, granted, if you were to just look at this picture, you would say, hey, that flag's on the ground. And that's what the leftists did. Not that they really care about the flag code, but it's always amazing to me when they can be as hypocritical because of their cognitive dissonance, the hypocritical of things like this, because, they burn the flag in protest. And most Americans would be like, well, that's disrespectful and blasphemous. Even though, you can burn the flag as the preferred method of disposing the flag after its full lifetime of use is over. But here's the problem. If you look close, and I'm going to try and zoom in as much as I can here, if you look close, there appears to be some sort of a Rubbermaid, and that is a Rubbermaid logo. There was a clearer picture. I wish that I could have had it, but there appears to be a Rubbermaid bin or something, some kind of bin there with a logo on it that the White House essentially says is holding that flag and preventing it from being on the ground. Now, according to Rapid Response 47, which is the X account that talks about all of this, according to the Rapid Response account, the reason the flag was lowered is because of the fact that there was winds and Marine One was landing. And because of that, they decided that with the wash from the helicopter rotors and that kind of stuff, that it would be better to bring the flag down and put it in a special container, and that the flag itself had never touched the ground. Now, I can tell you, on a 100-foot pole, that flag is probably pretty damn big. So I can't imagine. I mean, you would need, like, a lot of people to hold it. I can tell you right now, I fly a 6x10 flag, and even though my wife and I are capable of folding it up on our own, it really would be better if we had something like 2 to maybe 4 more people to help keep it tight and taut and that kind of stuff when you're folding it. But all of that being said, they temporarily lowered it into some sort of a container and then raised it again to half staff after Marine One took off. And so this happened on Sunday night. And of course, the leftist news media has jumped all over it because, and I'm going to kind of pick on them a little bit because you can see in the image. Whoa, I got to back up. You can see in the image that the flag does appear to be on the ground, but it actually isn't. And there's no way that you can actually verify that from this particular image. Now, the image itself is real, okay? The image itself is real and correct. Yeah, it's just, I mean, again, this is one of those big nothing burgers by the left, but Ted Lieu, of course, Teddy Boy, he had to go and post it, and he says, a weak president walking past a U.S. flag. Notice he didn't say on the ground. He said near the ground in order to try and avoid anything that could be said about him. But then he goes, America in decline under Trump. America is not in decline. We're actually, coming back up here, folks. We're going back up. Yeah, Bonnie says it's hard to fold a flag no matter the size. Well, I actually know how to fold it, and it's not difficult. You just need to understand how it's folded. And by the way, not that I'm necessarily calling anybody out on this particularly, but there's a fantastic YouTube video where the United States Army, one of their color guards, created a YouTube video to explain how they, in particular, make it so that the blue field, that there is no red or white from the stripes that show after that flag. So anyway, it's there's a trick to it, like leaving a gutter, quote unquote, that's what they call it, a gutter on one side of it. Anyway, it's a fantastic video. If you get a chance to check it out, I don't have the link to it right now because I watched it several years ago, but yeah, I'm sure you could go U.S. Army flag folding on YouTube and you'd probably find it. But anyway, fantastic video. All right. Well, all of the social media accounts that we got out of the Charlie Kirk shooter. And, Bonnie, I was not meaning that you didn't know how to fold the flag. I didn't mean that. I didn't mean it in that way. So anyway, we had the Charlie Kirk shooter, and certainly, right, fairly quickly after the shooter was identified to the news media, their, social media outlets were just like, whew, it was found out fairly quickly, within, a day or two of that individual's fetishes with furries and so on and so forth. But we did have an individual, the individual in Butler, Pennsylvania, who basically... basically, the guy from Butler, here it is. You can see the President Trump having blood on his face because of the nick that he got off the bullet. Very close to killing him, very close to hitting him in the head fully. But anyway, the gentleman who performed this horrific act and killed two people at the same time, Corey Compatore, and one other I can't remember right off the top of my head. But anyway, Thomas Crooks. His social media account indicates that, other than the fact that this guy was a completely off his rocker and should have been picked up long before this particular situation even came into play, but apparently also had a fetish with the furries and called himself a they, them. So, yeah, there's some photos of him that have been going around, that had gone around online. But Miranda Devine did a fantastic job uncovering some of this stuff. And, Miranda Devine, the one that found out about the Hunter Biden laptop story in the New York Post. But anyway, she went and uncovered with another individual, uncovered his digital footprint. And so the thing about this is, there was 17 accounts apparently. YouTube, Snapchat, Venmo, Zelle, GroupMe, Discord, Google Play, Quizlet, Chess.com, and Quora. Or, I don't know if it's pronounced that way or not. But anyway, the online interactions from when Crooks was 15 to 17 give us a better understanding of his evolution into an assassin and invite more questions about what or who reversed his ideology. Now, people who interacted with Crooks on social media warned law enforcement about Crooks' calls for violence. Believe it or not, he actually, he was a Trump supporter at one point. But he was calling for the death of, Democrats at one point. I mean, no offense to anybody in the community, but I got to tell you right now that if you're sitting there talking about murdering somebody or assassinating somebody, that's a pretty much a red flag in my book. I don't care who it is that you're attempting to assassinate. But apparently, this particular source said that the danger posed was visible for years in public online spaces, that he had a radicalization, violent rhetoric, an obsession with the political violence of it in and of itself were all documented under his real name. The threat itself was not hidden. So he left apparently a digital trail of violent threats, extremist ideology, and an admiration for mass violence. Gee, I wonder where that comes from, because they're even some of the mass school shooters here recently have had a open admiration for that kind of stuff. He spoke openly of political assassination. And he was flagged by other users who mentioned law enforcement in their replies. Despite that, his accounts all over me remained active for more than 5 years and were only removed the day after the shooting. So he switched from pro to anti-Trump. He referred to Trump as the literal definition of patriotism in a comment on July 20th in 2019. He also issued several targeted threats against the Democratic National Congressional representatives known as the Squad. This guy, let's just put it this way. He flip-flopped, and it's for whatever reason. But back in the summer of 2020, his online behavior flipped 180 degrees, became very critical of Trump, Fox News, and the Republicans, in specific about Republican complaints about mail-in voting. Throughout the summer of 2020, his online rhetoric became increasingly radical and violent. On August 5th, Crooks wrote, "In my humble opinion, the only way to fight the government is with terrorism-style attacks. Sneak a bomb into an essential building and set it off before anyone sees you. Track down any important people, politicians, military leaders, etc., and try to assassinate them." This guy obviously was being called out, calling it out. So anyway, yeah. I mean, this basically just shows you how much he should have had some attention. So, yeah. He should have been on the radar, according to a former FBI agent who investigated the Las Vegas mass shooting, which, of course, we don't hear anything from or about in regards to that. But the former FBI agent said that based on the online threats that he was shown, he said there was no way that the FBI would not be aware of him. So, yeah. Anyway, well, speaking of somebody who hates America, that's right, Michelle Obama stepped back into the spotlight. Now, apparently, why can't these people just go away? I mean, I seem to recall that when the Clintons left the Oval Office, they didn't have, like, major appearances or anything like that. They didn't, like, do appearances during the Bush years. It wasn't until, Barack Obama came in and she became, meaning Hillary, became the Secretary of State. But regardless, I mean, Michelle Obama, and yeah, I'm trying to be, somewhat polite. Both of the Obamas actually have been like on the touring circuit and been still in the public eye. Anyway, Michelle Obama. Yeah, no, it's she has her own podcast, of course. Trashing her husband quite a bit. Anyway, so she was at some symposium, I guess, and, kind of said some things that are sort of interesting in terms of why he won't be running for president in the near future. Let's take a quick listen.
So, thank you all for being there for us. You stepped into a role that carried a preconceived idea of femininity and wifedom that was founded on the landmines of racism and misogyny. What the First Lady wears is one of the main ways, which you've already said, that a First Lady is talked about. It comes with so much historical expectation. How do you feel about the fact that the First Lady is an archetype for wifedom and femininity?
Yeah, I don't agree with that. Don't agree with that. It's it is a completely throwback on. It's a definition that has no current status in how women actually show up in the world today.
Do you think that impacts the room that we've made for a woman to be president?
Well, as we saw in this past election, sadly, we ain't ready. That's why I'm like, don't even look at me about running, because you all are lying. You're not ready for a woman. You are not. So don't waste my time.
So there's the answer, folks. There is the answer as to why Michelle is not going to run for president. Because apparently, according to Michelle, who, by the way, I just want to repeat this. She did say when Barack was first elected president, that was the first time she had ever been proud of her country, meaning America, because they finally voted in a black president. That was like the only time of being proud. Well, okay, look, let's just face it. The Obamas are American-hating people. They just are. They hate America. But I do want to point something out. See, you guys, she's inferring here that it's a misogynistic kind of thing that is keeping America from having a woman president. That, we had two in a series, let's be honest. We had two. We had Hillary, or Killary, who was like the Benghazi horrible... whatever. I don't even know what else to add on to that. 33,000 emails deleted, bleach bit, smashing blackberries, all kinds of stuff. And then you have Cackles, Kamala Harris. Neither one are like brilliant people, folks. Neither one of them were brilliant individuals. Neither one of them were brilliant orators or could even fit into the idea of a statesperson. Okay? I suggest that if you really want a woman president, and I'm being completely open here because not that I'm never not, but the thing about it is, though, is that when you look at Republicans and you talk to Republicans about being a woman president or having a woman president, voting for a woman president, I can almost guarantee you that almost every single Republican to a individual can pick out one person in world history that they would love to see as an American president. And I got to tell you, across the board, I can't imagine anyone who would disagree with this. If you want a woman president here in the United States, all you have to do is find somebody, and I'm deliberately dragging this out, but find somebody who can emulate a former prime minister of the 80s. A former prime minister of the 80s who helped to take down the Soviet Union. That's right. I am talking about, specifically, Margaret Thatcher. If you want a woman president, that's who you need to find. Find the next Margaret Thatcher. Literally, I can almost guarantee you that if a Margaret Thatcher type were to come up through the ranks in the Republican Party, you could almost guarantee a win for her. See, the problem here is not whether America is sexist. The problem here is not whether America is misogynist. The problem here is not whether America is ready for a woman president or not. The problem is you dumbasses in the leftist lunatic party known as the Democrats seem to think that you need to find the wokest, dumbest, most left person in the world to be a part of this, to be president. That ain't it, folks. You want somebody who is smart, who is crafty, who is well-read, well-versed. We need somebody like a Margaret Thatcher. That is who you want, okay? That is the type of person that you want in the chair to be the leader of the free world. If you're looking for a woman, that is who you want. A strong woman who can be a statesperson. That's who you want. But you know what? Hey, keep trying to elect idiots. I mean, it's just, and that goes for both men and male and female. I mean, just keep trying to elect idiots, and I'm telling you, you're not going to get a woman. Because you need to understand that for Republicans and for the vast majority of the intelligent people in this country, her womanhood would be a secondary, if not a tertiary concern. It wouldn't be primary. And the problem is that these Democrat idiots seem to think that intersectionality and things like, you know, their identity politics is what matters. And it doesn't. See, Democrats, when they look at it and choosing a leader, they don't look for merit, capability, plans, intelligence, nothing. They look at skin color. They look at the plumbing. They look at, whatever kind of checkbox can fit in a list. That's the wrong place to be looking. Just like when you look at a horse. And I'm sorry, this is not please do not take this as any kind of a sexist thing, but when you're in the market for a horse, you don't look at the horse. I mean, you can find the flashiest horse, you can find the best looking horse, you can find all kinds of stuff, and maybe you'll be lucky to get one that actually is healthy and doesn't have a lot of vices and all of those things. You can choose to look at from the top down, or you can choose to look at the horse from the hoof up and not pay attention to the flashiness stuff, but pay attention to the things that matter most. In the case of a woman president or any president, the things that matter most are merit, capability, plans, intelligence, policy. Those kinds of things that matter most. So, yeah. And Democrats, by the way, would work extremely. If you thought they worked hard against Trump, I guarantee you they would work doubly hard if a Republican woman were to be nominated for president. You think that stuff against Trump was bad? Woo, boy, let me tell you, they would not want a Republican woman like Margaret Thatcher to break the glass ceiling. Let me just put it to you like that. Wow. Anyway. All right. Well, really quickly, there is a new report out that talks about where your money is going for the homeless folks. Okay? And guess what? It's not going to the homeless folks. It really isn't. I mean, people, you go and there's a new report out in terms of talking about fixing homelessness. There's a new report out that was put together by the Capital Research Center in cooperation with the Discovery Institute. And what they found is that extremist groups, extremist ideological movements are exploiting America's homelessness crisis. So they're using financial data, legal records, original research. The report uncovers a vast network of homelessness advocates that spend billions in taxpayer dollars and philanthropic grants on everything except obvious solution. Okay. The report demonstrates that counterproductive policies have been used for years which do not actually solve the homelessness problem, but rather exacerbate the root causes of homelessness, including things like mental health and substance abuse. The key findings of the report exposes some groups that have co-opted the homelessness issue in order to advance policy agendas, which, if left unchecked, would result in radical transformations of the entire nation. Folks, you hand your money over to these groups, okay? You hand that money over to these groups, they're not interested in solving the homelessness crisis. They don't even care. And the reason why they don't care is because this is a money-making operation for them. They are able to take in your money in donations, and they are able to funnel it to extremist political agendas. That's the point. So if you go to fixhomelessness.org, there is a new 2025 report that talks about all of this. I've got the link. It should be in the show notes for this. One last thing before I go. If you're a numismatist, you should be very, very happy. Maybe. I don't know. Depends. But the U.S. Treasury just finished minting the very last pennies in the world. And the last 5 may spark a multi-million-dollar bidding war. Experts estimate that the 5 final rare Omega-marked coins could reel in close to $2 million to $5 million at auction. I know many people are like, what is the hell is a numismatist? Well, that's a person who collects, who is a coin collector, literally. So, yeah. So they struck the final 5 pennies last Wednesday, each bearing a rare Omega mark, ending U.S. penny production and creating collector's items immediately that could fetch millions at auctions. The pennies, which were first authorized under the Coinage Act of 1792, were recently discontinued due to rising production costs over the last decade. The tiny coin now costs nearly 4 cents to make, but is only worth 1 penny. While experts estimate the auction value of the final copper-colored tokens to be between 2 and 5 million, other coin collectors said the estimates may seem unrealistic. So if you are in a numismatist kind of mood, maybe you want to take a look at that. But anyway, so yeah, the last pennies, they're gone. They're not going to mint anymore. There you go. All right, folks. That is it for me for this evening. Do me a favor, if you haven't already, head on over to rumble.com, get yourself an account. It is free. And once you are signed up and signed in, make sure you search up the American Perspective channel and hit that green follow button to get notified every time that I go live. Also, too, don't forget to hit those thumbs up, thumbs downs, or if you're 3 Chevy, the thumbs sideways across all of my platforms, whether it's X, YouTube, Facebook, or, of course, the aforementioned Rumble. We will see you tomorrow night, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on American Perspective. Have a great rest of your evening, and good night, everybody.